Welcome everybody today to the Wyoming Public Cemetery and Inactive Cemetery Committee meeting. Thursday, March the 13th, 2025, and it's a couple minutes after 2 right now. 1.1 on the agenda here today, just to remind you that this meeting will be streamed live and recorded for public viewing on the town's YouTube page using the following link: www.youtube.com/@townofplympton-Wyoming/streams. Item number 2, if anybody here today has a pecuniary interest, they can declare it now or at any time during the meeting. Item number 3, 3.1, we don't have any delegations at this time. Item number 4 on the agenda, 4.1, moved by, just hang on here a minute. Yep, okay, moved by John Van Claveren, second by Hank Wilshut, that the minutes of the Wyoming Public Cemetery and Inactive Cemetery Committee meeting be received and approved for adoption. And we have the Wyoming Public Cemetery and Inactive Cemetery Committee meeting, so January the 9th. All in favor of that, those minutes? Carried, thank you. Good afternoon, Adrian.
Good day, Chairman Bob and the
Nice
rest
to
of
see you.
the committee.
Nice to see you, sir.
Good to be here.
Okay, moving along, item number 5 on the agenda today, 5.1 there. Maybe I should ask first, is there any business arising from those minutes? Here? Al, did you have something about the bench? It was
Well,
probably the last
I
of
saw
the-
it back here in a bit. I don't know if that's coming up again in the agenda, but there's a map here with the showing the benches near the columbarium. And my question was, I'm not sure, did we budget for an additional bench this year? I would have to look into that a little more in depthly, but I couldn't remember myself, so.
We did.
We did.
No, we had
I'll
a,
look into that.
we had a conversation, did we not? There was 2 benches to be installed. And one was installed, and then the question came in of where we were going to install the other one. Remember across from the trees? Oh, there Hank's got.
In here, it says $7,000 budgeted for the installation of 2 benches.
2 benches.
2 more benches then, okay.
Okay, well, is that what item number is that, Hank?
Oh,
Is that in the minutes?
yeah, it's coming up on the agenda.
All right.
7.1, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, 5.1. Business was that the report by Dan Gould Brown, Executive Assistant Deputy Clerk, January 31st, 2025, regarding the legislation surrounding headstones be received for information purposes. Everybody have an opportunity to look at that. If not, take a minute just now. We get up here. Adrian, did you have a chance to look at that?
I did.
Okay, sir. Any comments?
No, not me.
Okay.
Are we going to discuss, Mr. Chair, what to do with the ones that are there then, that are obviously broken and laying in the bushes and so on and so forth?
Well, would that be more, yeah, that'd be more under the inactive one, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where, yeah, we certainly can discuss that, because that's, I mean, that's a big issue. Talked about that in depth and,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
let me just keep reading here. Well, it can be, I know for sure, talking in the past in this committee, this can be a touchy subject. Touching headstones, moving headstones, but as this committee knows, some of these inactive cemeteries, I mean, they've been thrown in the bushes, lots of them, not one, but. I mean, how many did we put on that hill that we built it there?
There were a number of them.
Yeah.
I think there was probably a dozen that
Right.
around that, we tried to place them and put them somewhat,
Mm-hmm.
So. Looks like under the regulation, the way I'm reading this is that it doesn't look like we're doing anything that's not legal. It's like that's the way I'm reading it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you're doing the best you can to, if you know where they go, then you need to put them back where they were. If not,
Mm-hmm. So could we add to the collection that's there? Could we make that mound bigger, or should we, or do we need to create another one, or?
just in my opinion, but that Errol Cemetery, it's a big job, what we're dealing with there. We're dealing with all them headstones back in the trees. Some of them still piled up along the fence and behind the bars.
Yeah.
I think, I think somewhere along the line, we gotta sit and talk specifically about that cemetery.
Yes.
And find out how much further we're gonna go. We've already put a big effort into the mound.
right. And I was I do have a contractor lined up to remove that iron rail.
Okay.
He's gonna tiptoe in there and get it out and load it in our truck so we can relocate it to the yard. Try and clean that west side up a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't think we're gonna solve it here today, but this is for reading, to take a look at it and
Mhm.
understand what we're dealing with here. But I think for maybe the next agenda,
Mm-hmm.
we'll put on there, let's talk about Arrow.
Yes, please.
We've got to zero in on one at a time,
Yep.
right? And then decide how far we're gonna go.
Yes.
We did budget some money
Or arrow.
for Arrow. So why don't we do that? Because we're not gonna resolve it here today, I don't think, unless we're short a couple of members here today.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah.
You okay with that, Adrian? We'll talk about this maybe at the next cemetery.
Yeah, 100%. So just a comment, if I may, quite a few of the cemeteries under our current jurisdiction, I guess, probably were changed before the town ever took them over. And I'm thinking about Buchanan Cemetery for one, way up at the top end towards Forest there, where they took all the headstones and put them collectively into one large
Yes.
monument.
Yes.
That's just one example. And if we talk about, I don't know if John is talking about the stones that are in the cemetery at Bethel United Church on Queen Street, I think, are you talking about those stones, John?
I'm talking specific, well, there's those ones, but on the Arrow.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the Arrow one. And I know there's some stones in the corner of the Bethel Cemetery in the southeast corner.
Yes.
And they were likely put there when whoever did, place those stones flat in the ground, like all the stones in that particular cemetery, Bethel Cemetery, are flat in the ground, and who knows if they're on top of the grave that they were originally meant for. But so there's changes made to that one too. And I think that if you look around at cemeteries both inside and outside of Plympton-Wyoming, you'll see the same types of changes made to cemeteries that are old.
Yeah, I said we had maybe talk about it at the next meeting, but thinking here. Maybe we should wait till after our tour. Then let's zero in on just. What we're looking at and which cemeteries, and maybe talk about at the meeting after that.
That's a great idea.
How's that? Because if we talk about it before, then we go out and do our tour.
Can you remind us on the tour?
Yes, we'll, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
We could actually have a heading, you know,
Thank you.
yeah. How's that sound, Adrian?
I think that's a great idea.
All right, then let's do that. Okay, moved by Hank, seconded by John, the report, Diane Gould Brown, Executive Assistant Deputy Clerk, dated January 31st, 2025, regarding legislation surrounding headstones be received for information. All in favor? Gary, thank you. Okay, moving on, 6.1, no counts today. Number 7, staff reports. 7.1, Wyoming Public Cemetery bench installation. That was moved by John Van Clavern, seconded by Hank, the report by Diane Gould Brown, Executive Assistant Deputy Clerk, dated February the 12th, 2025, regarding Wyoming Public Cemetery bench installation be received in the Wyoming Public Cemetery and Inactive Cemetery Committee identify on the attached map Wyoming Public Cemetery 2025 bench installation locations where the committee would like to locate additional benches. Okay, we can open that for discussion. Kelly, you were to know whether that was even whether we're putting more benches in this year or not. Read the.
We are, and I'll have to work with Diane. I think if she goes back through, it would, I believe it would be Ella's emails, there would be some contacts for the benches that we had already purchased.
Okay.
We'd be able to move forward with the same bench.
Mhm.
The locations and stuff there, I think we could probably find suitable spots for the benches, as long as we're back enough out of the way to so it doesn't impact any kind of snow removals or any future maintenance. With that being said, I think we currently already have an existing bench. I think is a little down closer to the shed, the cemetery shed. There was one there. And now we just put the other two, both at the newest ones at the columbarium last year. I think my personal belief, spread it out a little bit. Not everybody's got their loved ones on that main road area, whether we put one down in the south, maybe at the very southern edge, one up on the northern edge.
All right. That's a good idea. What do you think, Adrian?
Well, I'm not in favor of any more benches at all, to be honest with you. I don't ever see people using them. And if you're going to spend $7,000 on a bench, I'd rather see that $7,000 go towards something else in the cemetery. I don't think we've ever talked about that we need 10 benches, for an example, around the cemetery, but I personally don't think we do. I'm thinking that with the 3 that we've got currently, is it 3 I think we have right now, the 2 you mentioned plus the stone one? I think we should pause additional benches for the time being, unless someone specifically was to request it. That's my feeling.
Thanks, Adrian. What the committee think of that?
I think we should look at the cost, because I know we budgeted 7,000, but I don't think those 2 benches last year came in at $7,000. And I think it's probably a thing, if we're gonna have a discussion about this, we should make sure everyone's here, because I know Pam really would like to see it, so she should be allowed input in the conversation.
Mhm.
John, that's your.
I agree with Hank there. Yeah.
Okay, well, the way, and I don't disagree, so I guess the way to deal with that is maybe defer this conversation till the next meeting. We got time, you're not gonna be still wet.
Of course.
So All in favor to defer it?
Yeah, would it be okay to request that Diane maybe confirm what they came in at last year and then maybe reach out and see if, yeah, if even now we could get them 7.
Okay.
Be so kind, that'd be cool. Yeah.
Sign this in a different spot. All in favor of deferring it to the next meeting? Gary, thank you. Adrian, did you vote for that, Adrian?
Yeah, you see my hand up there on the screen?
No, I do now, yeah. Thank you.
The yellow one up. You look for that if you're looking for my vote there.
I didn't look in that direction. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, 7.2, Ale here that the report by Diane Gold Brown, Executive Assistant Deputy Clerk dated February the 6th, 2025 regarding 2025 Decoration Day be received, and the committee advised staff and which service providers they wish to use for 2025 Decoration Day service as per the chart titled Wyoming Public Cemetery 2025 Decoration Day Checklist / to-do list. And that was moved by Hank, seconded by John. So we'll discuss it first. Have a look at that. Okay, see the list there. Kevin Merritt, we had Jamie Hiscox, Hank Pipes from Ed Babcock, prayer, scripture and blessing from Zab DeJong. 25 Decoration Day service scheduled for June the what? I don't have my calendar.
8th.
Oh, that is correct. There's this
Yep.
Yep, that's correct. Okay, June the 8th. Okay. Want some discussions on that?
Just a question, Chairman Bob, our going in position is to have it out at the cemetery, weather permitting. Is that correct?
Geez, that's a good question. I was thinking about that yesterday. I thought we decided we're gonna keep it at the Legion, not have to worry about the weather.
I think that's what we decided also.
That was talked about, but I don't know if we ever made a firm decision, but we did like the setup last year.
I thought we did. I have to go back in the minutes, but I thought we decided that rather than every year worry about people hauling chairs, hauling this, and then it rains.
And then we changed it, and then we gotta let people know.
Diane?
Through the chair, I believe that's what Ella left me as information for the committee, that it was best to have it at the Legion. And I think that's what a lot of people had feedback on.
And older people and windy and cold. I have to go back and read the minutes or look at the video, but I believe what Diane is saying is. You recall that, Adrian?
I do not. I remember the discussion, but I don't think we landed on something solid. I don't recall it, but the minutes might show exactly what was decided, but I don't recall it that way myself.
We talked about it, but I can't recall.
One of the comments I'd have on that, on the Decoration Day thing, if you move it away from the cemetery permanently into the Legion permanently, then it really takes away from the intent of it, how it started back after the War of 1812, which was to go to the cemetery and decorate the things in honor of the fallen soldiers. So that's a big change if we move it away from the cemetery to a building, I think. But anyway, the minutes we should check the minutes and see what was said.
Yeah, we'll have Diane take a look at the video, or it'll be on video, but I'm almost positive that's what was decided. But I could be wrong. I'm not usually, but I could be.
And then last year, of course, we started adjusting the format a little bit. Remember, we adjusted the name, not to forget the past, but rather to acknowledge that things have changed also. And so to acknowledge where the present generation is at. And so, yeah, we just made some subtleties there. Yeah, all good for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I got the brochure from last year. Oh, I kept that in there. I threw everything else out. We called it Memorial Service in honor of Decoration Day. Right?
Yes, yes.
Anyways, we'll look up what the committee voted on, where to have it or not, but in the meantime, we need to go find out who we're gonna deal with again this year, or so.
Should we just voluntold Pam again, or
Pardon me?
should we just voluntold Pam? She's not here.
Well, to lead it, Hank, would you be interested in?
No, thank you.
No. Adrian, would you be interested in leading the charge this year?
Well, I could, but why wouldn't you do it, Chairman Bob?
Well, I think it was only fair for the chairman to make sure his committee is heavily involved, and I've done it. But, as chair, I've always said, you're just the chair. It's your committee. If you don't include your committee, it isn't long before you lose them and say, well, you're running the whole show. I've always felt that way, so I've always tried to share the experience, but anyways, are you interested?
I wouldn't say no. That's my wife's birthday that day, though.
Oh,
I think we could bring her along, maybe celebrate her birthday at the Decoration Day.
Oh, we could get you a cake. And
so that sounds like a yes to me. We'd be honored to have you lead the charge.
Indeed.
Yep, I'll do that.
Oh, thank you, sir. I know we're kind of putting you on the spot, but you're a big boy. You can handle it. Thanks, Adrian.
You're welcome.
Okay. Okay, now, as far as who else is gonna be there, I mean, Kevin Merritt, we invite him every time, but won't be every shows up, but we should invite him again because he represents Enniskillen, right?
Yep.
Jamie Hiscock, I mean, he's willing to do it. There was something there last year, but one of them didn't wanna.
Well, it's interesting, and I might make a comment there. I heard them talking after the ceremony and the service, and that was such a nice event, and they were already chit-chatting about this year,
Oh,
and they seem pumped. Now, we could be pumped in the moment too, and then life happens, and then they're not so pumped now, but they're certainly on side at the time, for sure. And they do a great job.
so do we go back after them, guys, girls? You agree? Say so.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, you okay with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Are you asking me? What about the minister? The minister would change over, right? You're talking about.
Yeah, we normally use somebody different every year. We rotate it, right?
Yep.
So who got a minister they'd like to approach? We had our minister from the Baptist Church.
Yep. Whom is the United Church minister?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Look into it.
Pardon me?
Good chair, I could look into it.
Oh,
Provide you the name and
Sure, see if
reach
they,
out to the committee and
Yep.
provide the name and
That'd be great.
let me know
Yeah.
if that's what you'd like me to do.
you're gonna actually contact them and see if,
I can just research and find out the name and everything, and then you can let me know if you wanted me to
Sure.
approach them.
Sure.
Okay.
is that okay, Adrian? Take a look at the United Church minister this year?
Good idea, I would say. Yep.
Thank you, sir. What else do we need? Well, once we decide where we're gonna have it, see what the previous minutes said, I guess we won't need any chairs or podiums or speakers or anything like that if it's at the Legion. So I guess we'll just have to wait for that until we find out what
I'll let you know.
the decision was. Okay. Just looking at the brochure here, I don't see anything else. It's pretty straightforward. Even Adrian, this brochure, I mean, really, sits in front of you. It's not a whole lot to,
Just adjust the.
just
dates and
introducing
times.
people
Yep.
mostly.
Yep.
I don't, anybody see anything else on there or think of,
Bagpipes?
other than booking the dinner?
This 2025 Decoration Day checklist to-do list, was this generated new or is it a copy of last year's?
Through the chair, no, this was, from last year's. We just,
Because I noticed there's a thing in there, backup venue in the event of
yeah,
Okay.
why that. Okay.
Oh, good eye.
It's just a,
that's just in case of.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, well,
The chair, but bagpipes, Roach Ed Babcock, is that still status quo?
they did a good job. I don't see anything else in that checklist. Well, obviously, the mayors of Plympton-Wyoming and Enniskillen. Other than that. Okay. Anything else on that item? All in favor of that? motion? Thank you. Already read it out. We still have another meeting, we can deal with it anyway, so. Okay. Item number 8, bylaws at this time. Item number 9, correspondence, 9.1. That's open discussion, moved by John Severn, second by Hank Wilshire, that the correspondence be received by the Wyoming Public Cemetery and Inactive Cemetery Committee, filed accordingly. 9.1, there it is in front of you. Let's get down to it. EAO notice regarding copied obituaries in the funeral. Funeral notices. Read of that.
Like, for instance, if you search a name and obituary, you'll get any number of websites pop up that produce that information
Yeah.
that they just. Funeral homes or wherever. This obviously deals with that.
Okay, well, everybody's had a read of it, so that'll be in the minutes. So that goes in the minutes for anybody sees this on YouTube, can they get this, or do they have to actually come and get paper copies?
They can act through the chair, they can actually go to the BAO website to get more information on it, but we'll also have it as well.
Yep.
Available for them.
Yes, Hank.
Mr. Chairman, I'm just wondering, is this a handout? Was this something we would hand out to people that would come in? They would say they're requesting. They got a funeral, for a funeral, do we have any correspondence that we would give them, or do we rely on the funeral home?
Through the chair, as far as I've been informed, it's the information. The BAO is always continually updating their information that we hand out to people coming in. And that's just it looks like another element that they're alerting consumers to these types of websites and that. So I believe it's something else we can hand out, but I can look into it further with the BAO representative.
I think it's a legitimate question, like in your home is probably something they should be doing right away.
I would think so, yeah.
You got that, Adrian, about whether the funeral homes would actually tell people this?
Yeah, I've read that article and yeah, I know that's an ongoing issue for sure. But yeah, the funeral homes, that's where I think it should lie myself.
Yeah. Well, Diane's going to look into it, Adrian, and to see just whether they do it or they don't. They probably do, but can't assume anything. Okay, all in favor of receiving that? Great, thank you. Okay, item number. Hang on a minute here. Oh, new business, okay. 10.1, under new business, the Brennan Dunlop Cemetery, the staff be directed to use the funds donated to the Brennan Dunlop Cemetery for blank, blank, blank. That was moved by Hank, seconded by John, so have a discussion. What do we want to use it for? If you recall, we got the donation, remember the gentleman came here wanting to put a stone in there, wasn't exactly sure whether it's 100% the right spot, but so was it just for their stone they put in there, or can we use that money for anything that's in there?
Al, do you see anything at that particular cemetery that needs to be done? That,
This time, we're just gonna crop a few more trees. We started cropping the trees around some of the stones that were up along the fence line. Just looking to carry on, bringing all those trees up to the same height, so it's pretty uniform. But other than that, that cemetery seems to be in pretty good shape.
Hank?
Chairman, I wonder, is that something we can refer back to one for the cemetery tour to, that if we walk through there and we say, hey, this is something that there's an opportunity there to use it?
Yeah, that tour usually identifies things that we need. I'm not sure what the original letter from this gentleman, whether it said use it for anything you want, or this is my maintenance money for my stone in the future. I'm not sure what his donation letter said. Anybody recall?
the spirit of it was kind of an honorarium. It was, he respected that we supported him in putting that stone there, and that's how he thanked us. That's
That's it?
For his great-great-grandparents and to be used within the cemetery. So
What's the final word say?
to be a headstone for his great-great-grandparents within the cemetery, so it's kind of vague. I could have the letter again.
Yeah.
Have the original email that was sent to the committee. And the donated funds will be included as new business for this committee meeting, so.
That kind of big, okay, and that's. So,
we're having uniform signing at some point, right? On our cemeteries? They're all gonna have the same look? Is that one?
Right. We were gonna try and bring up the town's new format on the signs, right?
Yes.
We currently have a stack of them for what do you call wayfinding signs that we're gonna do this spring, and I think the cemeteries will get that same look as well.
Mhm. So that's an option to consider.
okay. Here's the question. Staff be directed to use the funds donated to the Brennan Dunlop Cemetery for question. I mean, it can only be used there? Or will it can it go into our general funds? Or do we have to use it in the Brennan Dunlop?
I believe it can only be used in the Brennan Dunlop.
And maybe it would be appreciated and seems respectful if we use it there too. That's where it originated, and you might not find fault with whatever we do, but
Yeah. Any comments, Adrian?
Yeah, it'd be nice to know the real intent, that's for sure. Imagine we could get clarification to make sure we don't do the wrong thing. That'd be fairly simple, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
Ah.
Because if it's gonna be just for the Brennan Dunlop Cemetery, then it's gonna have to be put into there, highlighted, documented that they can only be used there. I'm assuming that's what they would want. Maybe not specifically for their maintenance on their stone, but would be for the rest of it. We don't know. I remember at the time, I remember the gentleman here saying, look, we'll put the stone there. Don't worry about it. We'll maintain it. We'll make a donation to maintain it or whatever, because that's what the discussion we're having. A lot of these stones, nobody to maintain them, right? So I guess until we get the right information right from the person, if we know who they are, maybe we should defer this also to the next meeting. What do you think?
Like Hank said, defer it right till after our inspection, our tour.
Could be, sure, makes sense that.
Mhm.
Letter from the
Oh, you got-
Mr. Rice right there.
oh, good. Let me
You
read
have
it
to
for a
blow it
minute.
up a little bit if you can.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, I just had a thought about the decoration day.
Yeah.
Do we have have we ever had a sign in? Booklet?
Not that I'm aware of.
Be a little cool.
Yeah, not that I'm aware of.
Like anything cemetery service oriented typically has a sign into. It might be neat to.
Yeah. And I know there was even talk about making sure the Legion have members there, because I mean, that's
Yes.
to that type of a thing.
Yes.
Okay, well, this to me, is pretty clear. Here, I'll just read you the final part that I think is the meat of this thing. In appreciation of your efforts to maintain these cemeteries, plural, I'm enclosing a donation to the Perpetual Maintenance Fund in the amount of $500. A donation is unconditional and may be used as the committee sees fit.
Oh, okay.
That's pretty plain. Thanks for that, Al. So, we've got to watch that. Perpetual Care Fund, we have, I don't know how many thousands of dollars in Perpetual Care Fund for inactive cemeteries. We can't use it. So, I'm gonna be careful here, because I could never understand that part. Why can't we use that? Never been given a proper explanation. God, we're gonna do, no, you don't. So, can we just generally say use for maintenance purposes, not be specific?
I'm not sh-
What do you think? I would say so.
I would say so.
Using the word perpetual care, that's all controlled by the government. So for general maintenance purposes. So, as amended to you two guys, it's,
Yes,
Yeah.
and Diane, you
Yeah,
got.
that's fine. Yep.
thank you for that.
Thank you. See how you gotta check everything.
Sure do.
We'll just initial that change. All in favor? Adrian, you okay with that?
Yep, there's my hand up.
There's a hand.
Oh, there he is. Yep. It looks a little sunburned.
Yeah. We're out in the boat yesterday afternoon for 4 hours. That got a little sun.
Yeah, you look well tanned, sir. Okay, new business, any other new business, I should say. Al, you had something, or no, pardon me, John.
Yeah, I've got something. And I'm sure the other members of the committee want to weigh in on this too, but I'm wondering about adjusting the meeting time from 2 to 9 AM. 9 AM would work. Folks.
Works for me.
Yeah.
John contacted me, I think just yesterday, and said, for us working men, now, I kind of. Working men, I'm not gonna question it, but it sounded a little.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you're getting after us retirees. What do you think, Adrian?
I'd be 100% in favor because my golf tee time today was 12 noon. If we had the meeting at 9, I'd been golfing this afternoon. So I'm 100% in favor of John's suggestion.
Hank,
I'm totally fine with it. There again, we have two members missing, so it's a little harder, but. okay with it.
I'm definitely 100% in favor of it because 2 o'clock is right in the middle of your day. You don't dare start anything or.
Afternoon, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
can you make a motion to that? You have to have a motion for that, and John, Hank, you'll have to second it, and then we do have a quorum here.
Oh, we do, yeah.
I realize the other two aren't here, but if there's a big issue about it,
To be fair,
we'll open her back, or well, I shouldn't say, I have to have 2/3 to open it back up, but we've got the quorum.
Um,
Do we have to get council approval for that, Diane? Because we'd be changing the,
Yeah, that's what I wanted to check with Aaron on,
I think we can change it, but it'll have,
an email after to the committee and inform you.
yeah, didn't we just go through the committee, one of the committee things last night to approve something? But yeah, we may, Aaron will know. I don't,
Yeah.
and should I have Aaron help write up the motion then also? Or can we just do that on the fly here?
no, it's just a recommendation for the committee that we change our committee times from 2 p.m. to 9 a.m. from,
Okay, okay.
That's all it is.
Starting when would we start?
Well, I'm suggesting 9 o'clock to be fair. I'm sure we could do earlier too, but
No, I'm thinking what date? Would we
Oh,
do it with
forgive
the
me.
next meeting?
yes.
Starting with the next meeting, April.
Mhm.
I don't see why not. As long as the council doesn't have to,
We can on it.
I think we should be okay. I mean, I can even call a different meeting, the chair can call a meeting anytime we want, so. To be fair to the other two committee members, like, we're gonna move ahead with it, but if there's a big issue, let's face it, we're a small committee, we can. Not that tough.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know, some working people have to be able to go to work, you know. So, I wanna make a motion
Yes.
for that, do we get it seconded it? And,
I would like to make the motion to change our
Okay.
starting time from 2 p.m. to 9 a.m. on meeting days.
I'll second it.
June will second it.
You're in second.
Thank you.
It'll be effective for the April.
April 10th meeting, I think.
Yeah.
April 10th.
And Diane may have to send notices out to the other, well, to all of us, saying the committee has decided to change. And then if there's a big opposition, well, we'll deal with it at that time.
Yep. Easy. That's all I got, Mr. Chairman, for your business.
Did you make the motion, Diane, or did,
Yeah, I've got it.
you sign their names to it, did you?
I can get you to do that.
Okay, okay, all in favor? Usually I see a hand up there
Double handing.
like that.
Double-handed, double vote.
Okay, all carried, thank you. Hey, any new business? No, I'm good. Al,
No, I don't have anything. I don't know if we talked about this last round. My dirt pile was gone. So
it is,
Yes.
nice and clean in there. Kind
Wow.
of empty in there now.
see, how
I
long
don't know
have
if
I
I
been
need to
on
put some gravel in there or something. Or
this committee for 15 years? That's pretty good, Al.
I've been half of them.
Yeah, no, that's good. Cleans it up. People drive in there. It's. not bad.
Yeah, it is. It is a little cleaner looking. We will attack that northern boundary line a little bit this year. We did, the surrounding neighbors have sold that farmland.
Oh,
There is some development in the discussions around there, so I do know there's some talks on that, so
that on the north side of the road going in?
the north side on the road going in, just from the house out and around the north side of the cemetery, I believe, right to the probably won't see much happening this year on
Is
it.
that where they plowed right up there? Okay.
Al, do you happen to know if the town was made aware that that property had come up for sale? Because the sign went up and it said sold within a day later.
Personally, I was never made aware, but I'm not involved in all the discussions in town, so.
Because we had talked about expanding the cemetery at one time and I seen the sign go up and I thought, oh boy, that maybe was a missed opportunity, but. Yeah,
We do have a pretty good sized plot there on that northeast corner. It's ready or whenever we decide to survey it and
Yeah.
prepare it.
Yeah, I guess the one item that we just should talk a little bit about here, it is spring. Your guys gonna go in and kind of do they'll be grading and they'll be picking up the bigger branches
That
and
is correct. We've already actually started all the cemeteries for the last while. We had these good days and stuff. And a couple of my staff members been going through all the cemeteries, the inactives and everything, cleaning, trimming and stuff there. So
and one thing we always talk about every spring, and we always get into trouble with some people over this grass planting on any grave sites that have new grave sites, putting sod, or we plant grass now, don't we?
we plant the seed, right? So just as soon as we have the opportunity to purchase topsoil, I generally bring that in from Sarnia. It's a good quality topsoil. We will top the graves off, regrade them properly and seed them down.
And May or whatever, when we do the tour, we'll look at any indents or whatever that we normally fill, and
That's right.
we'll list all that with the tour. So, and that's the other thing on the tour, Diane, like, we normally go for skeeters out there in between, like we go halfway and then we'll stop there, so.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, just, at least that's where we go. I mean, unless somebody wants to go somewhere else, it's usually a good midpoint, because pretty well takes us all day till about 2 or 3 o'clock, so. I don't have any other new business at this meeting. Anybody else? Adrian, you must have something.
Okay, you asked, I shall ask this question. I read recently, it might have been as early as today, about a cemetery, I think it was in Edmonton, Alberta, that some vandals or whatever went into it and removed a bunch of brass plaques, stole them for the scrap value, I guess. So I was wondering, I don't know if we got much of that in our cemetery or cemeteries, but if that was to happen, would the town have any liability to the people that own those? Or how would that pan out, I wonder? Any thoughts on that?
It's a good, it's a good question. I think it's a question we'll have to Diane to ask whether our insurance companies or anything would be responsible. I mean, I don't see it. I think the stone owners would be responsible, since they're responsible for their own stones. You know, all the maintenance. I know there's even one over there's got funny change put along it, but that's not very much, but I don't know how much brass is over. Has anybody seen any of that kind of stuff? No idea. Have you, Adrian, seen
No, I can't off the top of my head
yeah.
point to one, but it was an interesting story and one that you could expect happen in today's environment. If we had any of that in our cemetery, someone could come along and steal it. And you know, when we had those trees cut down near the columbarium, that was a pretty significant vandalism thing in itself. I don't think we ever got anything. I think we just swallowed that cost, right?
Yeah, because I know our deductible on our insurance is a lot more than them trees would cost. I'm not sure what our deductible is, but probably at minimum 5,000, minimum.
Yeah.
Yeah, even higher than that. Well, why don't we list it in there under new business, and maybe Diane can ask the question to whoever, Norma or CAO, on just what kind of coverage, not only on that, but even on the stones. If them stones get vandalized, you could run into tens of thousands of dollars. If you know, and are we responsible for that? So that kind of goes along with your question in my mind.
Yeah,
That
be
happens all the
interesting.
time. Yeah.
Yeah,
We'll try to get you an answer for the next meeting.
sounds great. Thanks.
Diane, do you have any new business?
At this time, no.
Thank you, Diane. Diane's our new secretary for, well, it depends on how many kids Ella has. I
No news on that front yet. I thought she was
No news.
supposed to stay.
Today's her due date. Today her due date? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. We may hear tonight then. Yeah. Never know. Okay, I don't have anything else. Nothing else, and we'll move by John Van Claveren, second by Hank Wiltshire. The Wyoming Public Cemetery and Inactive Cemetery Committee adjourns until April the 10th, 2025 at 0900 hours or the call of the chair. All in favor? Gary. Yep. So I'll just change this as amended. 9 a.m. I'll stroke to 2 p.m. and put 9 a.m.
That's great.